everyone. Welcome into Attacking Third for a great show today because we have groundbreaking news. The NWSL has announced a new CBA, giving a lot of freedom to the players. Plus, the NWSL returns for the regular season. Alongside Darian Jenkins and Duda Pava, I'm Lisa Carlin. Duda!
I'm here.
It's been
Welcome.
so long.
I always see you like
she's in the girls' room.
I know. I feel so special. I feel so good to be here.
The last time I think we had you on, you were in Brazil or had just left Brazil after winning the bid for the 2027 Women's World Cup.
Yes.
That was it.
Yes. Thailand and Brazil.
Oh, that's where you were. Yes.
That's where it was. Yes.
At the FIFA conference for Brazil. I knew you'd tell us.
It was amazing. It was such a dream come true. It's so hard to believe that everything happened, and as a Brazilian to be there, to be a part of it, I had no idea, to be honest with you, what I was going to do. I had no clue.
Well, hey, you won the World Cup
and
for your country.
Won. So I'll see you in 2027.
And you got to interview Ronaldo.
Oh, yeah, my legs were shaking.
I would be so nervous.
No, when I tell you, I was interviewing him like this. My legs were literally shaking because I could see behind him.
Oh
my gosh. Switch my legs. I'm not even joking.
Oh, that's funny. At least your hands weren't sweaty. Drop the mic. That would be terrible. No, of course you did amazing. And then Brazil goes on to be in the gold medal match at the Olympics. You find yourself there as well.
I did.
You're all over, but we can never get you enough here, Duda. I'm glad we got you today.
Thank you very much. Of course I would come here, but I was like, who am I trying to fool? Brazil is playing at the final in Olympics.
Go.
I had to go. So I booked the flight. And I did it. And now, I went to Rio to celebrate too. But we don't have to talk about that. Anyway, happy to be here.
So after this, you're going to take a nap, maybe, or something. Okay, I get it. Well, bring the same energy today, Duda, because the biggest news of the day has dropped. The NWSL and the Players Association have dropped the CBA that gives the NWSL becoming the world leader in their standard services and competition. It eliminates the draft. It gives players a lot of autonomy to be free agents. It guarantees contracts. It is so incredible, Darian. It's absolutely groundbreaking for the league.
I can't even get my words together because it's been such a long time coming. Thinking of when I even first entered the draft, how almost archaic it felt to do that. And now, especially the removal of the draft to me is a huge part. Now players can jump in with proper representation, can figure out what team actually suits them, what coach suits them, what market you want to be in, because now there's markets that are incredibly beneficial to you off the field. There's so many factors that go into now being a professional that have needed to happen for so long, so I cannot wait to see how players just fully take advantage of this, and it's only going to make the longevity for their careers in this league so much better.
It comes 2 years earlier than expected, Duda, because the original CBA going through 2026. Now this one reestablished, and it runs all the way through 2030. It's pretty cool to see how much power the players have given themselves.
It's amazing. It's just that players, they're free in a way, right? It's something that we all expected. And think about just being an employee, right? You're working for a company. You want to have the right to choose where you want to go, where you want to play, where like what you deserve, your right, on and off the pitch.
Where you want to live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not knowing if you could literally just have to pack your bags like tomorrow, pack everything up and leave. It's a huge change. It's a good day.
It is such a good day.
What a Thursday.
I didn't expect this. Who would have thought? Some of the biggest talking points of this CBA is one of them being the elimination of the draft and all events surrounding the draft. So that means expansion drafts, college draft, the discovery rule as well, because this now, moving forward, all players will be free agents, able to chat with coaches, use their agents to find out which clubs they want to play for that suits them best. How much autonomy does that give the players, Duda?
Oh, it gives so much autonomy. Like we're saying, it gives them the freedom too. But I think even something that we were talking about early this morning, that it makes a huge difference for the players. And a simple example is Maria Sanchez that we saw when she was playing for Houston Dash, correct? She was a restricted free agent. Correct me if I'm wrong, correct? Restricted free agent. And we knew that, she wanted to move. She wanted to go to San Diego there. However, if the team owns your rights, they could just match the salary. So she wasn't able to leave the Houston Dash during that time. So it gives the players the autonomy of picking and choosing, leaving the company that they're working for when they would like to. So it's a big change and a great change.
Well, specifically going back to the draft as well, there's so much anxiety that goes into a draft. Are you entering at the right time? Are you looking at who else is going to be drafted? Oh, if I'm not drafted top 10, that affects my money. That affects if I'm most likely to get a contract. The scope of even saying where you got drafted can be humiliating in some ways, and it actually doesn't dictate how well you're going to do on a team by any means. So by eliminating that, to me, is so important, just to allow players an even playing field to enter negotiations the right way, to make sure you're getting paid properly, to be in a market you want to live in, to just have the confidence to put yourself out there in a way that's best for you, not just best for a team that's using you as a chess piece to make moves.
Yeah. One of the points, Duda, you were mentioning there was that now the CBA requires consent for trades from the players. So the players have to be aware of the trades. They have to agree to them. There's just so many elements of this that put the NWSL on the FIFA standards and regulations. How, Darian, does that affect the players' lives off the field?
My word. I mean, everybody's got a business now. Hashtag no more side hustles. No, they're full-fledged businesses. People are buying homes. They have families. They have established their lives in certain markets and where they're trying to live. Some people want to move to a different market because it could be beneficial to them off of the field. I mean, well, if you play for Gotham, you're in proximity to New York. There's so many opportunities that are good for you if you can negotiate and pick where you want to go and not be shipped somewhere where, oh, this doesn't benefit me. I just bought a home. I can't work here anymore. I can't have the second job, the supplemental job that helps my income. So it's incredibly important for that, and I think we're really going to see these players flourish.
Yeah, how many players have we know that talk about every time they move to a new apartment, they don't really decorate as much because they don't know.
I never did. I didn't hang up anything.
Because they never know. Because you literally just never know when you're going to get the call and say, hey, sorry, you just got traded.
Yeah.
So that's a huge change.
It's absolutely
and it's also sad. Imagine.
Yeah, now that players have the choice of that. There's so much packed
You go
inside.
decorate that room.
Exactly. There's so much packed inside this CBA. Of the points that we didn't get to touch on, Duda, when you were reading through this, flipping through the bullet points, what is your best point in this one that stands out to you?
I mean, it's hard to pick one, but obviously we talked about the free agency, but something that we haven't talked about. Give me a charter bus. Sorry, a charter plane, not a charter bus. They now are able, a charter plane. The players, they have the respect, right? And they're going to be treated the way they actually deserve, because now not every single team was able to do it. And the teams that were doing it, they were getting in trouble. So now they're expected to have charter planes, and also the bonuses, increased bonuses.
Huge.
Yeah, no more incredibly long layovers or flight delays or can't train the day before a game because you were at the airport for 12 hours. I digress. I've been there. It sucks. My favorite part of the CBA is the increase in health professionals. I don't think that there's scope on how previously in the NWSL certain teams have very minimal medical help. There's not enough athletic trainers, physical therapists, performance coaches, doctors even at your disposal that you need. So for that to be something that is guaranteed going forward, and there's an increase and just more support for these players to have more longevity in their careers and know that they are going to be taken care of with their health 360 is so important. And I can't wait to see what this does for the careers moving forward.
I'm all about the money in this one. The CBA has raised the minimum salary, and in 2025, it'll be $48,500, and by 2030, it'll be over $80,000 as the minimum salary in the NWSL, and that's absolutely fantastic. It's also contingent on league revenue overall, so as the league continues to grow, the players are going to continue to benefit monetarily.
I think my first salary, when I got drafted, was $17,500. And I was like, woo! Take me to the bank. What am I'm going to shop online. That's hilarious. But that's a massive improvement. I can't wait for that.
And think of how happy you were to get that, because that was
happy to be there.
Above the standard, right? And now that's no longer the case. You shouldn't just be happy to be there. You should be paid to play. You should have good resources around there. You should be safe. You should feel protected. You should have autonomy. And that's what the PA has given the players in the league as well. Well, don't go anywhere. We've got the NWSLPA representatives, Tori Huster and Megan Burke, joining us next to dive even deeper into this newest CBA. The biggest headline news today is that the NWSL and the PA have secured freedom over their careers, announcing a brand new CBA in 2024 for the NWSL. Exciting news all across the league and with the PA. And for more on all of this, we are so pleased to welcome in NWSLPA President Tori Huster and Executive Director Megan Burke to break down everything in this CBA, because we're not lawyers, but we know you two know how to read it. Congratulations, Megan and Tori. I mean, this is groundbreaking. This is exciting. This is celebratory. Tori, what is the biggest point in the CBA that you are most proud of?
I can't even say just one biggest point. There's so many that I can point to, so many that when I read through the document over and over again, there will be another point that I know that we were able to acquire for the players. I think the headlines that we're seeing, though, that we've voiced this morning, guaranteed contracts, free agency for all, no trades without player consent, those types of player rights issues right off the bat really do it for me. I would have loved to have those things through the length of my career, and I'm really, really proud of the fact that we've got those for players now.
Tori, I like that you constantly have new ones and they're changing all the time throughout this day. All right, Megan, for you, which one are you most proud of?
Well, first of all, thank you all for having us here. We're so excited to finally get to talk about this new collective bargaining agreement, and it's great to be with all of you. As Tori said, there's a lot to be proud of in this contract, and not just as players, but the whole NWSL ecosystem. I think we recognized an opportunity to truly create the most elite league in the world, to level up to the rest of the world on global standards like free agency, guaranteed contracts, no trades without player consent, but also embrace some of the uniquely American commercial concepts like revenue sharing and a collectively bargained salary cap that ensures players can now make long-term commitments to these clubs, even in free agency, and ensure that for the foreseeable future, NWSL is ready to take on the rest of the world.
I love it. It's been such a long time coming, and I just love seeing where you guys are and how far the league has gone, especially even since I retired. There's just been leaps and bounds. What can you tell us about what's going to be effective immediately? Because we know the contract is the CBA goes until 2030, but what happens right now that benefits the players?
Well, most immediately, I'm really excited for the upcoming free agency window opening on September 1st. That is right around the corner, just days away. We anticipate about 100 or more players will be free agents when the window opens on September 1st and free to negotiate contracts that begin January 1st, 2025. They now know what the salary cap for next year is going to look like. And there are some other provisions in this contract that are going to level up the playing experience. NWSL's hired a field services specialist, for example. Oof. And my daughter is saying hello. Sorry, guys. This is family vacation week, of course. So there's a number of things that are going to improve the playing experience immediately. And then a number of things that, it didn't make sense to change the rules in the middle of a season. So, for example, contracts will be guaranteed after the initial termination date. Every new contract will be guaranteed. And there's some other things that you'll see take effect next year. But I will say for the salary cap, one of the things that's pretty neat is this year's shareable media and sponsorship revenues will inform next year's salary cap on top of the collectively bargained base salary cap. So there's a number of things that do take effect immediately.
Amazing. Megan and Tori, thanks again for joining us today. Such an exciting day for all of us. Megan, I have a question for you. So we definitely also saw from the new CBA that was announced this morning, there was increased number of health professionals that will be around the team. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And my personal question that we also want to know, it's very important, how are we going to keep the teams accountable for that? Because we know the teams, they definitely have different structure in the NWSL. So how are we going to keep them accountable for that?
Well, the union is still needed moving forward. I'm not planning on leaving this job anytime soon. So that'll be my job and the union's job to ensure that the CBA is complied with. And that's what we do every single day. The central function of a union is to negotiate a collective bargaining agreement. But then moving forward, it's just words on paper unless we actually live into it. And thankfully, we've got really great partners at the league and at all the teams that work hard to implement these agreements once they're executed and entered into. Things come up and sometimes things are solved with just a phone call. And sometimes if we do have a genuine disagreement, we have a collectively bargained process for that. We certainly don't expect or anticipate that we're going to need to pursue that mechanism right away, but it's there if ever you need it. I would say on the health front, there are a number of things. Look, there's a Club World Cup coming online in 2026, qualifying that's happening right now. There's an increased number of competitions. Under the new contract, the season may get longer. We may see more games, expansions coming online. And so the flip side of the increased demands on players is managing that workload with adequate, guardrails around game frequency, rest, recovery, players having access to their data, being able to monitor their own health. And then on the team staff side, we're going to see, for example, instead of under our previous contract, there was one massage therapist that's required. Now there's two. We're going to have an additional physical therapist. The players do a lot more than just train, as Darian knows. During the hours that you have a training session, you have prehab, rehab, lifts in the afternoon. We've got sports scientists, strength and conditioning. I guess now that's what we called it when I was playing. Now it's high performance. Forgive me. But yeah, and then we're increasing the staff that are required to travel with the team away. But then, of course, teams need to carry enough staff for players who aren't traveling with the team to be able to continue to train when they're still back in market. So I appreciate the question because it does speak to all the ways in which our ecosystem is leveling up, not just on the more headline grabbing pieces like free agency and compensation.
Megan, how is the PA putting structures into place to help players make educated decisions about what is best for them in their careers?
Well, so one of the things that I think is important to point out is that the flip side of this conversation around free agency is also loyalty. You've got a player in this call who played every one of her 11 seasons for the same team, the Washington Spirit. Tori's a long-time veteran of NWSL. I think there's something powerful in a player and a team mutually agreeing to enter into a relationship together and continuing every single day to earn the right to be in that relationship and to make the decision to renew that relationship. So I think we're going to see longer lasting relationships between teams and players when there's freedom of choice involved and players are choosing to make a commitment to a team. Really excited to see with this upcoming free agency window, what choices players make. We provide our players with a lot of resources and information so they understand the labor market, but they also understand what considerations might go into play in negotiating a contract. It's not always about where you can make the most money. We certainly think that's important. We want players to get paid. Getting paid well is important to the union. But there's also, where can I win a championship? Where can I get minutes? Is there a coach that I want to play for? Are there players I want to play with or a certain city I want to be in? It's not only about compensation, although that is a major factor. It's also about this short window of time that professional athletes have to be elite professional athletes and trying to make the most of that window of opportunity that they've got.
Tori, for players that are coming out of college and previously they just enter the draft, they show up at the convention and they hope they get chosen and they go to that team. Now they are free agents and they get to choose where they want to go. Are there any resources available for those collegiate players who would have entered the draft to learn more about teams or players or styles, or as Megan said, which teams are potentially eligible to win a championship?
I think that's the beauty of, having a broadcast deal and players being able to watch the teams play. You can pick up a lot of nuance through a 90-minute match and how a team chooses to play as opposed to another. I think there's something to be said about how small the soccer world is, and things can travel by word of mouth. And I think that will be of great use to collegiate players that are looking to enter the league. I know that college coaches, for as long as I've known, have been a very valuable resource to their players, especially if they're looking to make that jump to the next level. The networking that is available and very useful for these players is there. We will be a resource to anyone that's looking to join the league. We certainly value having very good players and very interested players in our league, and we'll always look out for them. I think something that you've seen as a shift over the last couple of years is that more and more players are represented by agents, and there are some very good agents in our league that will be able to help players get to a market that they will really thrive in. I think that there are a number of things at each level that will be just really, really helpful for younger athletes that are looking to join the league. And certainly the players that are in the league will do their best to pass on any information that will be helpful.
In a way, Tori, this new CBA, because of the draft elimination, it's kind of giving back the freedom, right, to the players to decide where they want to go. But Megan, you mentioned that some of the changes are going to be effective immediately. My question is, I heard that also the bonuses are increasing, they're doubling, they're tripling. Is that also included for this season?
Yeah. Yes.
Amazing. So that is great news.
I can elaborate, but yes.
Go ahead. No. So if you want to talk to us about the bonuses as well, which is a huge change and a very positive too for the MVP and also the Golden Boot winner, the Shield winner, that's also expected for this season.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I think it's important when we're talking about the bonus structure to acknowledge the role that sponsors play in this ecosystem. We did collectively bargain over a bonus structure in our first contract. And very quickly, you saw that sponsors were prepared to pay more than what we had negotiated for in the CBA. And so I think that's an important acknowledgement that we're seeing more money come into the system. We're seeing blue chip brands, fantastic sponsors come in like Ally. We've got the league has a whole list of blue chip sponsors. You can go to their website and see who they are. And I hope that all of you use their products because we are certainly loyal to the people who show up for us. But I think, that I say that because we've already seen that bonuses are higher than what's in the CBA. And we're going to see that, I think, that trend continue. So even the numbers you just cited that we increased the minimum, it's really matching, I think, where the market is. And there are some pieces that we needed to negotiate for in the CBA, and some others that we think the market itself will solve, which is kind of a funny thing for a union leader to say. But we've seen that be true in the last few years. So I do anticipate that the numbers are going to be even higher than what you see in our CBA during the period of this contract.
Megan, it's all about the money. Duda's like, give me the money.
That's right.
Let's go.
Pay the players.
And the players.
Here for it.
See?
Exactly. Tori, this negotiation and this CBA came much earlier than people expected. The first CBA wasn't initially up until 2026. The negotiations happened and a new one has already been signed. So what was the catalyst for starting these negotiations so early?
Yeah, I think it was the time. The league has certainly evolved. We've seen increased investment. We've seen the momentum throughout women's sports. And it was time to come back to the table, and credit to the league. They were the ones that sent, a letter recommending that we come back to voluntary bargaining. We had already kind of had that on our radar as well. I think what we saw last year in several of the international teams that kind of bummed out of the World Cup early. USA, Brazil, Canada were knocked out early in that tournament. And I think that kind of got the conversation going a little bit like, is the world going to pass us by here, or are we going to do something about it? And I think that was kind of that was the catalyst for us coming back to the table to negotiate some better terms. And I think we've done well there. The league has evolved, and we have gotten some really good aspects of this contract. Certainly the revenue sharing, I think, is one of the things that is huge for this. And looking forward to seeing what the next couple of years looks like.
Well, the league has surely evolved. Duda actually reminded me earlier of #no more side hustles and what an era that was for the PA and the NWSL players. But I wanted to ask, obviously there's so much work done in this CBA for years to come, and the game is going to continue evolving, and women's soccer and the NWSL is just going to take over the world as it already is. Is there anything maybe you were wanting to include in this CBA that you're already thinking for the next iteration of the CBA that, that's the next goal? You're just looking ahead?
Well, I can tell you that's my job, is always be thinking around corners. Not Tori. She's yes,
Megan's got a document already.
It's called job security, right? So look, what I would say is that we achieved our highest priorities in this contract. And when I say we, I don't just mean the union, the players. When the players win, the whole ecosystem wins. That's our philosophy. And so this levels up the entire league. This is good for teams. This is good for the league itself. This is a good deal for everyone. We all had to work very hard to get to this outcome. It was not an easy negotiation by any stretch. And I think each of us have a different role to play, but, credit to the league and the teams for being willing to make a pretty rapid evolution. And, in this contract, and you look at our first contract to this one, this league is going to continue to take off. Year-over-year growth, I anticipate, is going to be exponential, probably beyond anything we could predict or anticipate today based on today's assumptions. And so I would expect in the next negotiation that revenue sharing, increased compensation, I think, Duda, you said it earlier, show me the money, right? That's always going to be at the heart of a negotiation. But one of the things I feel really good about is that we negotiated a collectively bargained base salary cap that ensures year-over-year increases in base salary in compensation and injecting enough money into the system over the term, while also adopting revenue sharing that more closely aligns incentives so that as the league grows in terms of media and sponsorship, so too will player compensation. I would anticipate future iterations of this agreement will evolve on that concept.
Megan, Tori, congratulations. This is absolutely incredible. And thank you for sharing your time and diving a little deeper on the CBA. Tori, I don't know how close you are to the beach, but Megan, I hope you get right out there into the sun by the ocean to enjoy this and celebrate today.
Thank you for that. I'm not far from Tori. I'm trying to convince her to come down to the beach with the kids here in a minute. So
yeah,
we're
enjoy
about
it.
To go down there.
You don't have to convince us.
Thank you very much. The NWSL regular season returns this weekend, and Sandra Herrera is joining us next to chat all about it. Welcome back to Attacking Third. The NWSL regular season returns with Matchday 17 and a full slate of games. Friday, we've got 2 matches. Houston Dash hosting the Orlando Pride, and the expansion sides, Utah Royals and Bay FC, take on each other at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Saturday, you can watch NWSL right here on CBS with Gotham taking on Portland Thorns at 2:30. And then right after that match, it's the SoCal Derby with San Diego Wave against Angel City and Racing Louisville against the Red Stars Saturday night. Sunday, Washington Spirit against Kansas City Current, and Seattle Reign against North Carolina Courage. Now, it has been quite a long time since we have seen the NWSL regular season, and the standings, let me remind you, Orlando Pride undefeated at the top with 38 points. Kansas City, they've only dropped 1 game against the Pride, so they're right behind them in second. As we take a look at the top 7 teams right now, Gotham and Portland, they take on each other this weekend, both 4th and 5th, with the Chicago Red Stars rounding out the 7th place spot. The top 8 teams make the NWSL playoffs, and with just 10 matches left in the regular season, it's an opportunity for teams like Louisville, San Diego, Angel City, Houston, Seattle, Utah to climb up the standings and try to play spoiler for those teams in the top 8 of the NWSL table. We welcome in now the 4th member of our Attacking Third crew, Sandra Herrera, to join us and chat all about the NWSL weekend. But before we get to that, Sandra, Bud, the biggest news dropped today. NWSL and the PA announced their newest signing of the CBA, effective immediately, with so many incredible points in here, giving the players so much freedom and autonomy. But for you, Sandra, what's the biggest thing that stands out to you in the CBA?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I could just kind of choose one. I could probably go through each one and give you a reason for each one. So I'm going to say all of it, all the above, really. It's an iconic day for the NWSLPA and something that's really been years and years and years in the making. So all of my congratulations and thoughts are with all of the players, past and current, and really even future players as well on this moment. It's been a long time coming. And, I don't hide my belief, very proud of who I am. I know where I came from. I'm the granddaughter of a union steel mill worker. My mother was a Chicago public school teacher for decades and a member of the Chicago Teachers Union. And I understand the value of unions and what they provide for families in this country. So I'm thrilled for the players. It's a big day. It's a historic day. And it's, I think of the future players as well, because, this means that the fight is also now in their hands. They have to keep this going. So it's great to see that this is, in place. All of these wonderful things are effective until 2030. And, who knows, maybe the next one will be even bigger wins.
For more of Sandra's takes, you can read them where, Sandra? CBSSports.com. I think you spoke to some players too, maybe Simone Charlie in there, to get more of Sandra's and player perspective takes on everything CBA. But the NWSL regular season returns after a very lengthy Olympic break. The last time the regular season games happened was early July 5th, 6th, 7th, that weekend. And Darian, when you think about how everything has changed, rosters with trades, players playing in the Summer Cup, in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, now teams are back playing. So which team in the NWSL benefited the most from that Olympic break?
Dang, I gotta pick one. I'm gonna go with Gotham. I think they had really good experience. They got to play Chelsea. They got to flex their depth and really train and give players minutes that never get to see the field in a regular season, which is the beauty of having kind of a congested schedule in a lot of games, is you can really add depth to your squad. And they picked up my homegirl, Jess Silva, who's coming into the NWSL. Welcome back. So they, to me, are a team that benefited the most during the Olympic break.
Duda, what about you? Who are you thinking, made some steps forward the past couple of weeks?
What's right?
Which team in the NWSL made some steps forward and really benefited from this Olympic break?
Yes, I think that, I also agree with you, Darian, that Gotham did a very good job. But I think, for example, Seattle Reign, I think they definitely could use that special break coming out. For the Olympic break with Seattle Reign and Utah Royals. You know, when teams are going through not such a great time, they will appreciate a little break so they can kind of recuperate. We saw that also had some moves now with Jaden Howell joining Seattle Reign. So that's what I have.
I know. So many of the teams are going to look so different once they take the pitch this weekend. Sandra, for you, who benefited from this break?
I think I'm going to piggyback off of what Duda was already spitting a little bit. I'm looking at Racing Louisville, made a couple moves, had a pretty eventful Summer Cup. These are all things that maybe they could use and build upon in this return of the second half of the season.
All right, as we take a look at the schedule ahead this weekend, all 14 teams are back in competition. Dude, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Which is your game to watch of the weekend?
Okay, hard to pick, not going to lie. But to me, it would be Gotham against Portland. We see Gotham at 4th place with Portland in 5th place. Gotham with 31 points, correct? Yes. And Portland with 27 points. To me, this is the game to watch. And of course, there we have it, Jess Carter, who's going to be playing her first actual season, regular season in the BSL game for Gotham FC. And we don't know, but if there is Sophia Smith, there isn't Sophia Smith, I cannot wait to eventually see Jess Carter against Sophia Smith. So we'll see.
That's a good matchup. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Kansas City versus the Spirit, though. Both of these teams got to play against Arsenal and Chelsea during this break. They added Lacey Santos to the Spirit. Corey Bethune and Hal Hirschfeld are now back. There's evidence. I hope they'll be playing this weekend, hopefully some minutes. But I think it'll be really fun to see that competition on that team, see how Lacey Santos is incorporated. Ule Saw is on fire right now. And Kansas City just looking like they haven't lost a beat. I mean, they didn't lose any players during the Olympics. They look fantastic. I think this will be a really good matchup. And the first time we see these two teams play this season, I'm really looking forward to it and seeing who can come out on top between these two.
That's crazy to think that they haven't played yet this season,
right?
Considering all the competition that's already happened with the Summer Cup and everything. But I'm excited to watch that one. Sandra, who are you watching this weekend?
Oh my goodness, listening to everyone's picks just making me so hyped for this weekend. So I'm going to go with Racing Louisville versus Chicago Red Stars. I maybe kind of talked about Racing a little bit already, but again, I want to see them build off of what they did kind of in this little summer break. They went unbeaten during the Summer Cup. And as of recently, they kind of have Chicago's number. They've won 4 of their last 5 meetings against Chicago across all competitions. Kind of in narrow margins, but we'll see what the second half of this season brings. Will Chicago kind of finally break that losing streak against this side? I don't know. Stay tuned.
Ooh, I like that pick a lot, Sandra. I'm going to go with the SoCal Derby because San Diego takes on Angel City. And San Diego has really struggled in the regular season. They're winless in their last 9 regular season matches. Ooh. But they have a new permanent interim head coach in Landon Donovan that's coming off a 2-0 win in the Champions Cup over Santa Fe. And this San Diego side is rejuvenated. If you start a match and in the first first 2 minutes find the back of the net. Shout out Maria Sanchez. You are fired up to play your rival in California against Angel City. Meanwhile, for Becky Tweed's side, they've got Kristen Press coming back, getting more and more minutes. And this is an opportunity for Angel City to solidify themselves in the standings. Both of these teams sit 10th and 11th, San Diego and Angel City in the standings at those points. So they need these points. It all starts right now, the second half push in the NWSL season. So San Diego, Angel City, that's my match to watch. You can watch that one on CBS too. All of the NWSL matches are happening this weekend, and we are so excited that it's back. Don't go anywhere. We've got more Attacking Third coming up next. The W Championship Cup group stage action continues today with the Liga MX Femenil Showdown. Tigres hosting Rayadas. You can catch that match on the Golazo Network at 9 p.m. Eastern. The NWSL is back this weekend, baby, and CBS is bringing you a doubleheader on Saturday, starting at 2:30 when Gotham hosts the Portland Thorns, followed by the SoCal Derby between San Diego Wave and Angel City. NWSL action continues on Sunday. You can tune in to CBS Sports Network at noon when the Washington Spirit take on the Kansas City Current. Hey everyone, welcome back to Attacking Third. Sandra Herrera is back with us because we're playing a little bit of Make Your Case. Sandra, she's got the gavel. She's our judge for this segment. So Duda, put on your best behavior. You've got to impress Sandra up there.
I'm ready.
She's like Oz in the wall. You never know what you're going to get.
Okay.
Before we get to that though, in March, we made our NWSL predictions for who would be in the top 8 of the NWSL standings. Ooh. So Darian, Sandra, and I rolled out with what we predicted all the way back in March. And I've got to say, for my top 8, I am 6 out of 8 correct right here. I predicted San Diego Wave would be up there, and currently they're in 10th in the standings, and Racing Louisville. I also predicted they would be in the top 8th, but they're only 9th, 1 point out of the top. So when you look at it in terms of 6 out of 8, it's not bad, but that's only 75% correct, which could be better. Could be better. All right, Darian.
You're being too hard on yourself.
It could be, and I say that because I'm on par with you. But also, you did a little bit better than me because I have Angel City who are in 11th, and you said San Diego's in 10th, so you kind of get the one up. I also had Louisville in there, who are currently in 9th. So
close, just on the edge.
6 out of 8. It wasn't a bad guess. It still passes.
It definitely passes. All right, Sandra, let's see how you did because your predictions are always pretty on par.
And the winner.
Hey, listen, I got to take the dubs where I can get them. 7 out of 8 ain't bad, but yikes, Seattle Reign in 13th right now. I was way off on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to knock you down. Maybe we could call us all even. That's got to knock you down a couple points. Yeah.
We have a curve now.
Oh, that's absolutely hilarious, the bell curve. Well, Sandra, congratulations. Now you get to be the judge as we play Make Your Case. We're going to start with which team is going to win the Shield. So the NWSL Shield winners, Darian, you're going to go first.
Who do I have? Orlando. For my Pride girlies, for the Shield winners, yes. I kind of burned some bridges, but they're going to use my motivation last week, the Banda Chowinga argument as motivation. But I do have them winning the Shield because I think that they're just unstoppable. They're still leading the NWSL. They are unbeaten in the regular season. I think they are just going to keep building on that and ride that momentum. But when the tournament comes, I have a little bit of a change-up. That's what I've got for Shield.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I know playoffs are a whole different story, but for the Shield, Sandra, it's going to be Kansas City. They are bringing in some new players. They have goal scorers out the wazoo. They've got a deep bench, and they have a target on Orlando's back to beat them in that next matchup. And once Kansas City beats Orlando in that meeting, they're just going to rise to the top and stay at the top. You can't slow down Kansas City. They're my Shield winners.
Can I?
Yeah, dude, all
Sandra,
you.
You ready? Because we both
right, let me hear it.
Because we both know that the Shield winner is going to be Gotham FC, baby.
I thought you were going to say Chicago. Said,
No, it's going to be Gotham after, I don't know how many Olympians they had on their team, 20 maybe. They're flying back from Paris to join Gotham again. And now Jessica Silva with Jess Carter. They're going to rise to the top, in my opinion, during the regular season. And they're going to be the Shield winners. We both know that, Sandra. Just saying.
I love it. I love the confidence of that. I really love it. Lisa, you're speaking to my Midwest heart. I love that too. But I'm going to go with Darian on this one. Darian's got the dub. Orlando.
you thought you won. Yes, Sandra, the pump fake. I'm here for it.
Absolutely heartbreaking, Sandra. Okay, we're moving on. NWSL Championship, Duda. Who do you have winning?
That's the Pride, baby. It's Pride or die. That's what I'm thinking. They're going to go back there. So that's what I'm also thinking about it, okay? I see Gotham winning the Shield. Pride's not going to win the Shield, okay? So that's for Gotham. And then Orlando Pride, they cannot be stopped. There is Barbara Banda. She's probably scoring 20 goals a game or something like that, right?
Wild.
4 hat tricks, if that's the thing. But I don't think anyone can stop the Pride. And I just think it's a beautiful story for them to rise back again and be the champions of the NWSL this season. It's going to be hard to stop.
Sandra, just forget about that. Let's go over to Kansas City. I think that they want redemption against the Pride. They look like they aren't slowing down. In fact, they're shoring up their defense, bringing in Alana Cook over to the team. I think that this is a team that's just going to outscore their opponent, regardless if, they meet up with Orlando again. Say it's in the final. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. So I'm going to go with Kansas City.
Sandra, it's hard to do, but the one team that could get it done, back-to-back NWSL champions, are Gotham FC. This is a team that went from just squeaking into the playoffs last year to running away with it, and they look different this year because they are stronger. They're more solidified in what they want to do. Juan Carlos Amaros ran throughout the Summer Cup without conceding a goal, making it all the way to the Summer Cup final, and doing it with a lot of rotation and a lot of depth at Gotham. Now you add in all the pieces that he has brought onto this roster, and they're just going to create magic, especially throughout the playoffs. It's Gotham back-to-back,
You're
baby.
a seller, Lisa.
Sandra, I just want you to keep in mind last time Kansas City played Gotham, Shoinga kind of tore that high line apart. So just keep that in mind.
Hey, Sandra.
I respect it. I respect the back and forth on making the cases. I think you're making it difficult for me to nail this one, but I'm going to go with Lisa for her case. I think she made the strongest case in this one.
Woo! I absolutely love it, Sandra. Okay, now let's do Golden Boot. I am going to go first as I am the winner of the NWSL Championship. Make your case. I am going to go Golden Boot goes to Orlando Pride's Barbara Banda. This is a player that has 12 goals in just 12 matches, so the stats don't lie at all, Sandra. And with 10 matches left in the NWSL and Orlando hoping to win the Shield, hoping to make it all the way to the playoffs, Banda is going to be just on another level. She's going to continue to level up, elbow Shoinga out of the way, and win the Golden Boot at the end of it. That's who I'm going to go with. Duda?
I think that Shoinga is going to elbow Banda away. And Shoinga is going to take the Golden Boot for Kansas City and for this year's. She's unstoppable, in my opinion. I think she's literally taking so much responsibility for Kansas City Current. No one can stop her. Her speed, her power. Obviously, I think it's going to be between Banda and Shoinga, but I have Shoinga all the way.
Well, she left out who I wanted to say, Sandra, and I'm going to say Sophia Smith.
The hair flip.
I had to add some sort of drama into it. The reigning Golden Boot, Sophia Smith, she currently has 10 goals, 6 assists on the year, and this is a player that makes something out of literally nothing. Even when her team isn't doing well, they're not performing, she can take the ball from half and go to goal, take a shot from range. She gets on the end of crosses. She's really a 1v1 artist as well. So for me, she is going to get the Golden Boot.
I love all of the narrow margins in everything, whenever we're talking about NWSL or women's soccer in general, and even in this debate. I didn't expect this to be a speed round in equality, but I'm going with Duda on this one. It looks like each of you won one of these rounds. I got to go with it because you know what? I believe in Temwa. I think maybe the difference breaker might be the expected goal rate. And I think Chowinga's is a little bit higher right now at the moment. So
And
Duda wins
also
this
with
one.
Golden Boot, you have to take into account assists. That's the first tiebreaker. All right, Sandra, I like your logic there. So now we're 1-1-1 for Make Your Case. We have one more category to do. League MVP, Darian, you go first.
I mean, Barbara Banda. Come on, Pride. How can you deny Barbara Banda? She came into the NWSL late and has just taken it over by storm. Similar with Chowinga, she's unstoppable. I mean, she just flicks defenders off of her. She creates something out of nothing. She's an impeccable finisher. She gets a lot of assists. I think now that she has a little bit more of a runway of the season in the second half, and there's a little bit more pressure, there's a lot of talk, even what we're doing now, it's just going to motivate her more. So she's MVP.
NWSL MVP is always someone that changes the game for the team that they're on. This player has changed the league. We talk about how do you stop her? How do you slow her down? Barbara Banda, she's my MVP too.
Oh, 2 for 2.
Duda, who you got?
3 for 3.
Hey!
There's no way. There's no. You're talking about how it's a player that changes the game. It changes everything. I don't think the Pride would have been where they are now.
No,
Absolutely not.
it wouldn't.
Without
Be a different
Barbara
team.
Banda. So.
All right, Sandra, who wins?
Who do you got, Sandra?
Shout out to Wendy's 4 for 4. We're going Banda all the way. Let's go.
Absolutely love it, Sandra. Thank you so much. We're all tied up. We'll have to play Make Your Case again so I can win and show Darian and Duda, you know, who the real knower of all things is up here at this desk.
I'll be back then.
Duda, this was great. Thank you for being here with us. Sandra, as always, Darian, you know, good to see you. NWSL regular season returns this weekend. Enjoy all the action. We'll be back on Monday to recap it all.